What is up, Beyond the Gates fans? Got to preview this upcoming week of Beyond the Gates, the week of March 2nd. February sweeps is over, and unfortunately, the show limped off of February sweeps the last three episodes. This past week's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday episodes were not good, in my opinion. And I think we kind of are getting back to a more visionless show that needs better storylines or maybe climax a storyline and give us something really juicy. They decided not to do that during February sweeps though. And looking at this next week, it kind of feels like more of the same from the show, which is not necessarily a good thing. But I mean, here's hoping we at least just have some more entertaining episodes than the last three were. In the video preview for the next week, the first thing we see is Bill asking Hayley if she is ready to start trying for a baby again. So I guess we're circling back to Bill wanting a baby from Hayley. Hayley's been on birth control because she's been trying to get out of having to have a baby with Bill and using an excuse of a miscarriage to, do that. This is what I say when I say it's going to be more of the same this week, because we're kind of just going back to another point in the story that we've already seen. But maybe it is our slow burn to get Hayley's scheming to completely fall apart. I do think the truth about her faking a pregnancy and her faking a miscarriage needs to be part of many things that come out when Hayley finally does have her downfall. Next in the preview is Nicole getting into it with Leslie about the time when Nicole got physical with Leslie and choked her because Leslie was pushing the right buttons. And Nicole seems to be getting worked up with Leslie again here, but they seem to be with Vanessa during this conversation in the preview, and Vanessa seems to try to stop Nicole from getting super worked up. Listen, we complained a lot about Leslie over this past week. They need to stick to a character for her. Like, is she this scheming villain, or is she just an annoying clown character? They've really leaned into the latter, and it really hasn't been working. So it makes it hard for me to get excited for the Nicole and Leslie rivalry coming up again this next week, honestly. Next in the preview is Anita getting cancer treatment and telling Vernon she may not win her battle with cancer. The problem with this is that we all expect Anita to win her battle with cancer. But the show has done their best to have a realistic approach with Anita's cancer. I'm glad it hasn't gotten a super amount of airtime lately, although they've given a lot of airtime to Naomi having the cancer gene, which I don't think is good TV either. Hopefully it is another week where the cancer storyline is not, front and center. Next in the preview, we see that it is Bill and Hayley's anniversary, because they did get married when this show debuted last year. And then we see Dani coming in and wishing them a happy anniversary. And then in the preview, she's going to pull something out of her purse, which is like a nod to her pulling a gun out at their wedding during the premiere week last year. I expect it to not be something dramatic like that out of Dani this year. She is more grounded with Andre, at least for now. But, I'm glad we're getting Bill and Hayley's anniversary. But it also shows us that the show needs to really move the Hayley and Bill storyline along. But like I said the other day during my episode review on Friday, I believe, the show kind of, that's all they have right now as far as good storylines go, is Hayley and Bill. And then, you can add Andre and Dani to that. So I understand why the show is taking their sweet, precious time with that. But they also need to see that if this is the only storyline they have that is really putting butts and seats right now to watch the show, then maybe we need to do better with our other storylines. You would think they would get that idea. I don't know. Last in the preview, we see Eva telling Leslie that Leslie taught her everything she knows about revenge. I don't know what revenge Eva wants to get right now, unless she's threatening her mother because her mom keeps making weird comments about Isaiah or something. Much like I feel about the cat character needing better storylines, Eva is the same way. When are we going to get better storylines for two characters who at the beginning of this show had the most potential? They've squandered it though with the writing thus far. So I'm honestly not excited with the preview for the next week, but hopefully it will be better than it's looking like it will be, because it kind of just seems like more of the same. And I don't know if more of the same is going to work in March, like it almost worked in February for me at least. But by the end of February, we're back to where we were at the end of 2025. A lot of these storylines, visionless and kind of just treading water. Anyway, because Beyond the Gates has been kind of a downer over this past week, it has made me want to go back to the well and maybe review another soap opera. I feel like the only soap opera that would get views is General Hospital, but I would have to hate watch that. But I might just do it. Some of your comments from this past week, I got a lot I want to read, but I also got to make it quick, so let's get through them. Wade David said, June could become the MVP of Beyond the Gates. You know, June has a lot of support from y'all in the comments, and I like June too. I think the actress that plays June is younger than the character is supposed to be, and I feel like they kind of hurt themselves by doing that. But June is a character right now with a lot of heart, and I think she is very likable, and I think she's a good actress. So I would like to see June's role expanded. And with that Wesley character that they brought in over the past week, there is potential for a backstory there. So I do think June has a lot of potential to become a great character on this show if they take the time to make that happen. Sable said, I'm afraid, though, that somebody's going to get killed with all of this undercover work, and Tomas and Vanessa are nowhere on the scene. Sable also says, I believe June is about to get a bigger role, yay. So more support for June there. But Sable is worried that someone's going to get killed in this Impaler storyline, and it's going to be someone like Jacob or June herself who's kind of involved with it. I mean, I will be very, very upset if they kill off another character before they kill off Tomas or Ashley or Derek or Vanessa, because they already killed off Doug. So yeah, if they kill another character that isn't one of those four, I do think I will be upset. I mean, the Jacob character is not like great TV or anything, but I still think more viable than the characters I just named. So if they are going to kill someone off in this Impaler storyline, they should tread carefully, because if they do, and we're still stuck with those four characters, you best believe I'm going to be ranting every single week about how this show refuses to off its dead weight. Some of these characters are beyond dead weight at this point. Alicia8857 said, will the Impaler get nabbed in our favorite alley? Elisa always cracking me up in the comments. I think that alley is going to be where we see 75% of the Impaler storyline, I fear. And then the other 25% are going to be things that happen off camera, unfortunately. Hemi30 said they might as well had called Wesley Tyrone Biggums, since that's who he looked like, minus the powdered lips. They just couldn't come up with an original look for the character. They had to copy off of a character from the Chappelle Show. I didn't realize that at first until you pointed that out in the comments, and the attire was definitely Tyrone Biggums-esque. At least they didn't go the whole crackhead character route with him necessarily. But I liked the actor, so I mean, I didn't have a problem with Wesley overall. Mary Lemuse says, my immediate thought upon seeing Francesca was that she should have been Deanna. Agreed. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Mary said, hopefully the girl who plays Deanna is age appropriate, no shade to Samantha, and charismatic like Lynette. I mean, I do think the actress that plays Francesca is very charismatic. And she does seem younger than the actress that plays Samantha. The problem is, like, I'm enjoying the Francesca character so far, and I think it will be good for the young set. But, like, we need to see this Deanna character if they're always going to talk about her. Because, frankly, Vanessa needs something better because I really can't stand watching that character anymore. Like, I watch live, so I can't fast forward. But if I didn't watch live, Vanessa would be the character I fast forward the most, probably. Also, I want to thank you all for all the happy birthday comments on the Tuesday episode since me and Beyond the Gates share a birthday. You all were very nice, and I appreciate that. Rodney Herring says, I really enjoyed Darnell's performance today. I think he did a great job, and June throwing that to-go bag was everything. June throwing that to-go bag at Francesca was the funniest moment of the week. I agree with that, especially with all the shit Francesca was talking before that happened. Rodney also said, I love when Hayley pulls one on Bill and then she gives that cunning little grin. A real scammer. Yeah, Hayley just scams the hell out of old Bill. Sharon B3DN said, Jacob is working undercover, but everyone keeps showing up to talk to him in public. Smitty showed up with his notebook, then Isaiah, but I guess that was by accident. Regardless, they can blow his cover. Isaiah was standing there asking him questions on why he was there. I mean, yeah, for Jacob to be undercover in some shady alley, everyone keeps running into him. So I don't know if he's doing the best job of being undercover. Kelly ESS says, Smitty definitely looks like a fish out of water. I think this was in my regard to how I didn't think Jacob looked very hood in the alley trying to be undercover. But yeah, Smitty looked even worse. Smitty looked like he came straight from fucking Congress to that shady alley in the DMV somewhere. So yeah, Smitty definitely should not be in the alley with Jacob because he does not look like he should be there at all. Pam Allen 6372 said, June looked at Wesley like he was someone special to her. I believe he is the father of Tyrell and Samantha but doesn't know it. Yeah, Kaiwan also said that in the chat the other day when Wesley first debuted. And I think that would be a great backstory to make June a more prominent character since a lot of you seem to support June very much. And it gives, you know, more of a story to Samantha and Tyrell as well. So if we are going to see Wesley again, and I think we should because the actor was good, him being connected to June is the best way to go about that. Doc Backhand said, Leslie's motive for funding the clinic is to become respectable. It's a great cause. If only she knew what she is doing or could hire competent staff. Her shady reputation is getting in the way of hiring decent staff, including Derek. If Derek is the most competent, the clinic is doomed. That's true, because Derek has always come across like a, you know, kind of a dummy average Joe, and yet he seems like the person right now that they're writing as the guy that could make the clinic happen better. That doesn't bode well for the clinic. I agree with Doc Backhand. Divine Trivia YT said, I bailed on today's episode midway through at the Tomas and Kat scenes. They are extremely boring to me. Yeah, because it's impossible to have chemistry in a couple with Tomas because he's gonna go out and give nothing. I'm over that relationship. I've never liked that relationship, and I want a better story for Kat. Maybe one of these days we'll actually get a better story for Kat. Amber Lynn said, I feel Isaiah is involved because he lied to Naomi about seeing him, but I think he might be undercover on a federal level. Amber was the first person I saw bring this up in the comments. A lot of you have since. And that would make sense for the storyline we've seen about Isaiah and his problems with his father. Maybe Isaiah really is working for the FBI or something. And at a federal level, he'll be the one to crack this case. And then it's going to make things more awkward for Jacob and Elon, but maybe make things more awkward for him and Elon. The potential is there with that. And I think that is a good suggestion. Hemi30 said, the Leslie Clown show needs to end. I felt secondhand embarrassment for the actress. Just send her to prison already for what she did to Laura. Maybe have her befriend Allison behind bars and give us some cute prison scenes. Enough is enough. She's making the other characters look and sound stupid. Yeah, we all know she tried to kill Laura, but let's be her friend and work for her. It's so dumb. They have really stretched out the Leslie stuff too much, and I don't like how they've leaned into the clown show with her. I would have to agree. And I've been one of the holdouts. I like the Leslie character when they give her a good motivation, or just make her an actual villain. But her just being annoying isn't really working. And I think the character needs a rest. It doesn't even have to be a long rest, but a little bit of jail time, few months of jail time. Make it soap opera jail time and get her out, and then maybe she can be more viable again. All right, I'm running out of time. Franco said, Leslie's gone from compelling villain to please go away. She hijacks every storyline, never loses, and it's exhausting. I end up fast-forwarding whenever she's on, along with Tomas, Ashley, Naomi, Jacob, Eva, Kat, Chelsea, and Madison. If I didn't watch live, I would probably fast-forward a lot of them, too. I still think Leslie and Joey's scenes are good, but we haven't got any lately. Nancy Annette said, please bring cartoon Leslie and her shenanigans to a close. So a lot of you agreeing in the comments that the Leslie clown show over this past week was not working at all. And I unfortunately agree. GB3398 said, I only watch the recaps now. I'm not watching again until the storylines pick up more. I mean, I can't blame the people in the comments saying that they don't want to watch right now, because honestly, February sweeps should have given us more than what they gave. I really do feel that way, especially after November sweeps gave us nothing. I can't pronounce your name. Daphne Holland, sorry if I mispronounced it, said, when Leslie got that money, it was all downhill. Yeah, when Leslie got the money, she has become more and more of a clown. And I do think that was probably the wrong direction. I think they gave her money too soon as a character, and they didn't really have a good storyline to go from there when they gave her money. So yeah, that was a mistake with the writing. Lulu says, I think Isaiah is undercover getting close to Eva in order to investigate her mom, Leslie. That's possible too. Maybe if Isaiah is an agent, maybe it's not all about the Impaler. Maybe it's about Leslie. But I don't think Leslie's crimes are at a federal level, though. At least not what we know of. Maybe something from the past. It would cause problems for the Isaiah and Eva relationship if he is investigating Leslie, which I think that relationship needs some obstacles. This show likes to have couples without obstacles, which is fine, but it makes the couples become boring too quickly. All right, that's all the time I got. Thank you all for all the comments as usual. We will see what this next week of Beyond the Gates brings. I'm not that excited about it. My excitement is not high for this next week, because I do feel like it's going to be more of the same that we've seen for months now.